Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will be creating a table in Oracle Live. So I'm assuming you're logged in already in Oracle Live. So this is the home page, and we'll go to SQL worksheet to start creating a data table. So we want to create a data table or a table called customer. Let me put that on here what the requirements are. So we want to create a table name customer. We want the table to contain first name column, last name column, phone number, email, street address, apartment, city, state, country, zip code. And we also want to make sure that we add constraint to all of these to make sure that some of these things cannot be left blank. Okay, so I'll keep this in here, but let's start creating the data table. So create a data table, you have to use the command create table and then the name of the table. So the name of our table is customer and then parentheses. So now we want to use the first, uh, we want to give this a ID because we want to make sure that every customer has an ID. So let's do cust ID, and this will take a variable number, and we want to do the limit to 10. And now first name, it will take a varchar 2 is a variable character 2. It will take up to 15 uh, letters. Then we also want to add a constraint to this, so it will be constraint. So we want to give this a name is customer first name we want to make sure that it is not left empty. Now last name, we also want to use the same variable. It's varchar2. We want to give this 15 as well, so it will take 15 characters, up to 15 characters. And we want to add constraint to this as well, so it'll be constraint last name, not null. So the purpose of adding constraint is that to make sure that when you are entering data, you will have to provide this to make sure that it is not left blank. Now we will just move on to the phone number. So phone number, it will take a number, and we'll just make this a 11. And we also want to add a constraint. So constraint, we'll just name this customer phone number, not null. So You will have to provide the customer phone number as well. It cannot be left blank. Now, email, you'll also take a variable. Varchar basically is um, it takes like a bunch of alphabets or letters combined. So numbers only take numbers and things like that. And here we want to add a constraint as well. So constraint, we'll just call this customer email uh, not null. And now let's see. We have uh, street address. It will also take a variable character to. We'll just also do this 35 as some of these street addresses are long, and we'll add a constraint to this as well. So constraint, we'll call this customer street not null. And let me actually zoom this a little bit so you can see it better. Okay. Now we want to add an apartment. So let's close this apartment. It will also take a variable character too. We'll just do this 10. So it'll take up to 10 characters. And then city, we don't want to add any constraint to the apartment because uh, somehow some houses have apartment numbers and some are just houses, so they don't have apartment numbers. And varchar 2 again, city, so there should always be a city. We'll just add a constraint to this. So it'll be constraint, we call this customer city. Um, and it will be not null. And then country, same thing. Country, varchar 2. We'll call it, give it this 50, just give this 30. Maybe they have, the country name is pretty long. Set a constraint to this as well. So constraint, customer, country, varchar 2 again. I'll give this 30 as well. Oh, sorry, um, not null, not null. And then the last thing that's left is zip code. So zip code, it'll take a number because zip code's a number. I'll take 5 because maximum number of letters. Well, yeah, maximum. I think there are 5 for zip code in the US. So we'll just make this 5, but you can change it to whatever you like. Constraint would call this a customer zip code not null. And this will be it. So this is it. So what we did is we just created a table named customer. Now the customer ID, it will take a number. It can take up to 10 characters. Then the first name, it will take variable characters, so you can put like alphabets. It'll take up to 15. It has to have something on there. Last name, same thing. Constraint last name, and then there you must add something into that row for you to able to add a record or create a record. Phone number, make sure the customer has a phone number. Email, same thing. Street address, again, you want to make sure that each of the record you create has a street address. Then the apartment, we don't want to create any constraint to this because if it's a house, if a customer is living in a house, then there will not be an apartment number. And then city, so every customer should have a city. we add the constraint to not null, so it will not be left blank. Country, same thing. Every customer should have a country. Then zip code, we yeah, we can remove this because it's possible that the customer is living somewhere else and they don't have zip code there. So we'll just remove this. Okay. So now we'll just run this and it will just create a table. So here you see that table is created. So now the table is created. Now we want to add data to this table. So now our table is created and we can look at different columns that we just created. So we can use DESC or describe customers and run it. So it will show us all the columns in the customer table. So this one has customer ID, which is it is not required. Um, and then first name, it is required. Last name required. Phone number required. Email address required. Street now is also required. City is required, and country is required. And these are the numbers of the characters that you can add. You can once you when you were creating a data table, you have to pay attention to this. These can later be edited as well. I'll be creating videos on that as well. All these can be edited. Everything in here can be edited later once you create a table in Oracle Live. But let's insert some data into this. So we'll just use insert into customer. Customer here is the name of the table. You have to use insert into command and the name of the customer, name of the table to insert values. And here you will just put values. So if you are adding records to each one of the columns, you don't have to specify which column you're adding what. You just add them in a row. You just put them here in a row and it will add it. But if you want to add specific things, the specific column, you have to specify in which column you want to replace the value to. I'll be creating more videos on that as well later. But right now, I'm just adding a record uh, to this table that we just created. So I'll just add customer IDs as 1001. First name is John. It's John. Last name is Smith. So for the numbers, they don't have to be mm, within the quotation mark, but here for the everything that is text, it has to be within the single quote for it to insert value. So if it's not within single quote, it will not insert value. And let's see, phone number, we can use 700 703 000 000, and then email, we'll call it how I check uh, at gmail.com and add single quotation and then comma. So all the values are separated in with comma, and then street. So we'll just call it 101. Uh, hmm, Call it Nowhere Street. Then comma again. Now apartment number, we'll just call it 3B. Uh, City, we'll just call it New York City. For country, we'll call it USA. And for zip code, we can call it 12345. And at the end, we'll just use semicolon, and then we want to make sure to see what we just created, customer. Okay, so now let's see. If I run this, it will insert these values and show us the column that I just created. Here is okay. Here we are. So I created this column earlier as well, so you can just see two of them now. But this is the column we just created. this is the column we just, well, this is the value that we just added to this column. Hmm. And that is about it. Uh, that's how you create a table in Oracle Live or Oracle database. Uh, using SQL or SQL, and that's how you add data. Later on, I'll be doing more videos on how you can manipulate data, how can you replace. So if you have to replace this phone number, how would you do that? How would you edit things? How would you delete a record? So if you have an Excel record, how would you delete it? Things like that. So please subscribe to my channel. I'll be on the lookout for more videos related to Oracle Live and some of the other data analysis tool that I have used and I work with on daily basis. So please subscribe and thank you for watching.